Yes, I think there is one thing, and that's because remember if we go back to our discussion about the Jewish Passover and about how it was required for Jews to be in Jerusalem on the Passover. This was a biblical requirement. It was also a requirement in the Jewish Mishnah, in the Jewish Talmud. They all require this. But that's not all they require. They're very clear that you're supposed to go to Jerusalem and you're supposed to eat the Passover lamb, but you're also supposed to do this in the house of your father with your larger extended family gathered, and you're supposed to spend the night. And this is to reenact that very first Passover where you gather indoors with your family and you don't leave the house all night, because in that very first Passover during the Exodus, the destroyer is going to pass over the house. So you don't want to go outside the house because the blood of the lamb on the doorposts, is a marker for the destroyer to avoid, to pass over the house. This is really important for understanding where Josephus's acquaintances would have been on the Passover of 30 AD, because Josephus's commander, his commander, Josephus tells us 3 times, was very old. Twice he tells us he was the oldest of the high priests in 68, 69 AD. You don't become the oldest of the chief priests and high priests by being a young man. So he was clearly very old. He's probably in his 70s or 80s, which means he would have been an adult in 30 AD. He would have probably been older than Jesus. But now we know where he would have been on the evening of Passover. Josephus's commander would have been in the house of his father in Jerusalem,
Wow.
celebrating the Passover. Where was Jesus brought on the evening of Passover when he was arrested? He was brought into the house of Josephus's commander's father, the father of Josephus's commander. He was brought to the house of Annas, as the Gospel of John says, and Annas is the father of Josephus's commander. He would have been required to be there. So it seems like when Josephus says it was the first men among us who accused Jesus before Pontius Pilate, he's telling us, I know at least 1 or 2 of the people who were part of this accusation. And who's the most likely candidate? His own commander, who would have been at the trial of Jesus in his father's house on Passover.
This is so cool. This is so cool. I can't wait to share this with folks.